my work as a librarian and involvement with children and young people, I have strived to open doors to books and help them to discover the enjoyment and excitement which books and reading have to offer. We're off to the library. There's something to see, something for everyone, and it's all free. These photos are a snapshot into what was happening in the libraries 40 years ago. Children's reading schemes. The majority of children learn to read when they first attend school and go through a set of reading schemes. It is often only on the completion of the scheme that they will be allowed the freedom to choose what book they would like to read themselves. However, the enjoyment of having their own library ticket enables each child to actually select the books they themselves want to read. For some children, being confronted by rows of bookshelves filled with many different books is quite daunting. They may simply wander rather aimlessly round the shelves. Parents may be on hand to guide them, and librarians are always ready to give guidance. But in the end, choosing a book is a very personal choice. TV and personal recommendations by teachers, parents and grandparents can be helpful. We wanted to show readers the variety of books and other materials available, help them to discover, become immersed, intrigued, or simply feel relaxed, satisfied at having experienced and enjoyed a book which they have borrowed from the library. With the advent of TVs, laptops and computers becoming more accessible to families, many children have shown a preference for spending leisure time on these, rather than curling up in a quiet corner with a book. Indeed, today many parents have to juggle work with home and domestic tasks, having little time for sharing a book with the family. How could the library excite young people to enjoy reading for leisure? We devised a Become a Good Reader scheme. Children's library staff selected 150 books, read them and compiled 10 questions on each book. Children were invited to select one of these books during a visit, read it, and on their return visit answer questions or talk about it. Points were recorded on a chart, a badge awarded for 50 points, and a certificate for 100 points. This could be presented to them at their school, which enabled teachers and parents to know all about their efforts. Many youngsters went on to read more books, and when a total of 500 was reached, a book token was the final goal. Although library funding was very limited in the latter part of the 20th century, keenness, talent and loyalty were the key to creating it into a place where people, young and old, could feel welcome. TV was fast becoming a main attraction at home. How could we compete with it? This was a time when computers were purchased for the public to use free of charge. ITV generously donated one for use by children, and the special launch was televised. Parents were keen to keep up to date and to be shown how they worked too. Today, libraries are faced with persuading the public that despite the introduction of electronic games, there is still a place for books as part of our leisure time. Books are often adapted into films, with viewings at cinemas and on television, but for many they lack the pleasure of turning the page, reading the text, and enjoying the story unfold. The library book can, without effort, give a sense of satisfaction and enjoyment, and it's free. General Knowledge Quiz. The library was part of the local authority which served over 60 primary schools in the borough. It was therefore essential that it should have links with the schools, as they could also encourage use of the public library as a source for reading for leisure. Each spring term, all primary schools were invited to bring 4 top-tier children to take part in the annual General Knowledge Quiz. From 2 rounds, there followed an elimination until the final 2 schools had a head-to-head. On the evening of the finals, parents supported the 2 schools and council members attended. Even the mayor presented the winners' cups. Every child who took part in previous rounds had a certificate, which was awarded at the schools. Children's Book Week. Every 2 years the Children's Book Week took place. The aim of this was to enable authors to come and inspire young people about their lives as writers. Funding from the Arts Council paid most of our expenses. Regrettably, audiences were mainly from schools within walking distance of our libraries where these events were held. There was always a good buzz of excitement and enthusiasm from the audiences, which made this another way of strengthening ties with the community. One of the highlights of the week was the visit by authors. They came to the library in the mornings and then went over to Chelmsley Wood in the afternoon to talk to the children personal incidents about their writing and the books they enjoyed reading themselves. The children went back to the schools with a great buzz of excitement, especially when they'd managed to get an autograph. Amongst the authors we had were Nick Sharratt, Pat Thompson, Penelope Farmer and Helen Creswell, who came with her umbrella. During one of our book weeks, we organised a Poems into Posters event. The aim was to link elderly members of the community with young children and share their favourite poem by illustrating it. A calligrapher was on hand to write the poem out, and the pair illustrated it. The next stage was to have it printed out into a poster, which could then be displayed. Even in those days, many parents found summer holidays a real challenge. How could they keep their children occupied? Where could they go? An hour once a week was devoted to drawing children into the library for activities, which included lace making, origami, quizzes, board games. Speakers were invited to talk about the RSPB or photography. We had a chance to meet the parents or grandparents too. We had a puppet theatre and children worked the puppets. The show was held outside to attract a crowd at Baddesley Clinton and Meriden Green. Despite the fact that the public library is for all today, it remains a place where children have to rely on parents to take them there. Sadly, those who rarely get an opportunity to visit the library are the losers. Perhaps one day an answer will be found, and children will encourage their parents with the suggestion, "We're off to the library, there's something to see, something for everyone, and it's all free." Surely that's much better than trailing round the supermarket. During my time with Solihull Borough Council, I was presented with the 25 Years Service Award. Each recipient was asked to buy something to the value of £25, which was then awarded as a special ceremony which Michael and I attended at the Council House. I chose a limited edition of a bird sculpture, which brings back many happy memories today.